Hello and welcome to the special interaction. I'm Gautam Roy and this is DD India. India has its eye firmly focused on AI. That's an unequivocal message that will go out to the world come mid-February when India hosts the first of its kind event in the Global South, which is the India AI Impact Summit 2026. It will be covering all aspects of artificial intelligence, whether it be tech or industry, also at the same time research and policy and many others. India is advancing rapidly where its AI goals are concerned on multiple fronts to serve its 1.4 billion people in the best possible manner, and DD India's guest for this special show is part of that endeavor. We are joined by Dr. Pratyush Kumar. He is co-founder of Sarvam AI, a startup which has been tasked by the government of India just last year to build India's indigenous sovereign large language model, or LLM. Now, first of all, Pratyush, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about Sarvam, the kind of work that it's doing. Why was it chosen to do it in the first place by the government of India? And it's a seminal work, really, nationally concerned. And what does it really involve, and how far have you got?
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me. This is definitely a topic for the season. AI is going to be very interesting over the coming weeks. I was a professor at IIT Madras. We were working on AI for Indian languages. And of course, all of us are aware that these large language models like the ones in ChatGPT were possible a couple of years back. And the main idea was that as you make AI larger and bigger, as it consumes more data, it shows a new emergent properties, right? And hence the name large language models. This is becoming a very critical technology, and it was felt that we in India need to have the ability to train these models for ourselves, right? And that was the intent. And the India AI mission, which was set up in 2024's budget, was really government's large push towards our own ability in building such models, and Sarvam was chosen as the first company to build these models. It is a large task in terms of collecting data, getting the right algorithms, and then using GPUs, the kind of compute that is used to train these AI models to work well, right? And I'm glad to inform that the first such models trained from scratch, so to speak, in India will be released before the Impact Summit. So in the weeks to come, we will be actually releasing them. Yes.
Okay, but just tell us, why is it so critical for India to develop its own, sovereign, homegrown LLM, and because there are others available as well. They're commercial, of course, but they have been proved to be effective. So why are we doing this?
This is an important question, and I get asked a lot, but that's a very simple answer, right? We are a old civilization and a young country, right? And this is a new and important technology, and it's a technology that we should have the ability to play in, right? Imagine a few hundred years back when steam engines were discovered. Just because few people built them in the UK, you would not want to necessarily not build them in India, right? Of course, India should play across the value chain of AI, as the Honorable Minister recently mentioned in Davos. There's a lot of work to be done at the application layer of AI, which is to use models and then make them relevant for people and build applications. But certain organizations like ours can take more foundational bets. Can we build these models also ground up? Because we then prepare ourselves to participate in the next iteration of this technology. It's just a few years old in terms of a technology, and I think it's going to be a critical one. So we need to have the expertise to play across layers.
Mm-hmm. And what are the other AI capabilities or innovations that India is developing? If you take India as a whole, government, industry, startups like yours, and others, corporates perhaps, together, and are we going to be there in this particular tech race, which has already been unleashed across the world? Where would we be?
No, absolutely. So I think this is going to be a very, very fundamental technology, and I counted one among the factors of productivity like land, labor, capital, and so on. Therefore, it is important to understand what kinds of AI India needs and to innovate on them. For example, innovating on voice is something we focus quite a bit on, right? Many people would like to use voice in India, especially in their languages, and directly access models. Secondly, we need to make these models appropriately sized while they are capable. This larger the size, the more capable they are, but they also become expensive. So how do you build the right model sizes which can serve the majority of the needs of a billion plus people, right? So there will be efforts around making these models, frugal and efficient in terms of
even in terms of energy consumption.
Absolutely, right, and energy is the main proxy for cost, along with the semiconductors that go into it. So we need to ensure that we can serve these models with the appropriate cost, right? And finally, we'll have to think about what kinds of models can be used to ensure that services like education, healthcare, agriculture, right, with the data that we have in the country, having a lead in digital public infrastructure, can actually create on ground.
Yeah, and you recently interacted with Prime Minister Modi as well on National Startup Day. You and other, AI startup founders. Now, what did you find to be the most remarkable aspect of that interaction? What kind of a vision did he project to you for India and its AI capabilities?
Well, it was an inspiring moment to meet the Honorable Prime Minister in person. Firstly, I think it is very clear that he gets the pulse of the people. You get a very different sense of it. One of the things he said, which I am taking away with me, is that the country adopts technology very positively. Right? It's not true about all countries in the world, but there is sometimes fear and so on. India is a very positive adopter of technology, and hence he gave us the clarion call: go build stuff because India will adopt, right? And then we can therefore ensure that everybody is benefiting from this, right? And I think that's what we are working with. In fact, we named the company Sarvam because we genuinely believe this will touch everybody, which in Sanskrit actually means everybody.
Yes,
or
everybody.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. And just tell us about what you make of this event that India is hosting, Global South First, First for India as well. What to you would be the measurable parameters for its success?
No, firstly, it's important to realize that in a very few instances, this international forum has become so critical, right? There are many forums and forums in which people come together, but AI has become so important, as identified by the people who matter globally, that it is that many heads of state are coming to India. One, it is a global event, so you will hear globally from all people about what is happening in AI, their perspectives. But the event has been named Impact Summit as opposed to the previous ones which are looking at safety and other things, right? And therefore, India being focused on welfare of a billion plus people, talking about the impact that AI can have on people, right, genuinely, I think is something that people should take away with this. Because AI right now, there is a lot of sometimes fear around job loss. There's a lot of investment that has gone into it, which people are looking for returns on investment.
There's a bubble fear as well.
There's part of the fear as well. And I think genuinely the technology is almost magical. And it is our job as technologists to ensure that that magic translates to value for the common man, right? That impact is, I think, what this summit should all be all about.
I love the use of the word magic, because that's what one is expecting, and one does expect for dreams to come true through AI. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about it, and that is what can be expected, real impact when the summit takes place in India, and it will be power-packed with power-packed results as well. That is the expectation and the hope and the dream that India is advancing with its AI endeavors. Thank you for watching.